Hi everybody, Ghost Critic with another comic review video. There's quite a stack to go through today. So let's start off with the Image titles I picked up. Another new #1 from Image. They're really throwing these out at the moment, which I don't know whether is really such a good idea for them to be doing it all at once. I think some of the titles may end up suffering because there's only so many comics we can buy. But I thought I'd pick this up. It's called Mind the Gap. And this was actually quite a good first issue. It's another, I think it is another kind of almost double-sized issue, and still for, I think it was $2.99. No adverts in at all, so you just get a full uninterrupted story. And it was funny, I don't know anyone else who's read this yet, but in my head throughout it while I was reading it, all I heard was the Smiths song Girlfriend in a Coma, which is quite apt really, because the writer of this book certainly uses song lyrics as he's telling the story to very good effect. Certainly in telling you a little bit more about the characters that the song lyrics are attributed to. So when you read this, if you go and pick it up, certainly, you know, take note of that. But what is this about, Mind the Gap? Well, we have our character on the front who is in an accident. Well, we think it's an accident, where no, it's really not an accident. And she is taken to hospital and she is in a coma. And we get introduced to her family, a group of her friends, a kind of mysterious in the shadows character, and some doctors and nurses who certainly are going to show up. They're not just your average, oh, I'm Dr. So-and-so, this is what's happened. They are certainly very integral to the storyline. And we get it from two aspects. We get the interaction between the family and the friends while they're at this girl's bedside, but we also see the flip side of it from the girlfriend, girlfriend in a coma in my head. We also see it from the girl's perspective, because while she's in a coma, she's having this out-of-body experience, and she is in this kind of limbo plane where other people who are in comas are just generally walking around and trying to find basically their way out. It is an interesting story, and it's kind of like, it's a whodunit really. It's a mystery to be solved, and if you read like the article at the back, from, I think it was written by the writer, I can't remember, I think it was, but he explains that in this first issue, you've already been told the person that has done this to this girl, their name has already been spoken. Now, there is a ton of characters in here, and it could be any of them. What he also says, and which I think is really nice, and it seems to be prevalent more in things like your DVD films and stuff, this new kind of, well, not new, but newish phenomena of Easter eggs. Those tiny little details that you may miss when you first watch or first read, in this case read. And it's like a commentary on what you've just read. Did you notice this, this and this? It is worth looking at this comic book very, very closely for those minute details, and I hope they keep going with this this explanation, Easter egg kind of commentary in the back, because it is a nice concept, and it makes the comic a bit more interactive for the reader and, you know, the writer. Will I be getting issue 2? If I see it on the shelf, I'll probably pick it up and try issue 2. I've not put it on my pull list yet, but it's certainly an intriguing read. Give it a try. Image. Oh, goodness me. Shaky Kane and David Hine bring out issue 4 of 6 of the Bulletproof Disinterred. And this, phenomenal. But for, I don't know whether it's for the wrong reasons, for the right reasons. David Hine and Shaky Kane are just throwing everything that you know about comic books out of the window. This, what they have done here, it's been done before, and you've probably done something very much like this when you were at school in like an English literature or an English language lesson as a kind of way to get round kind of maybe writer's block or something like this. But what this kind of genre has done, it's called cut-up comics. What they used to do, and this goes back to the 1950s, what this comic book has is 84 panels. Throughout it, just 84 panels. They are placed completely randomly. There is not a linear storyline to this. And you just have, I'm going to have to show you, just so you can understand, because this is a brilliant comic, a brilliant idea. If you can see that, hopefully, yeah. So it's like that right through the comic book. Show you another page. Doesn't matter that I'm showing you. These are completely random panels. They don't tell a story. They do, because, you know, some of them that you might read in the second page kind of relates to something you might read in the 5th page or the 10th page. And it's just the greatest thing. It had me absolutely enthralled. It says at the start, you don't have to read this from like right to left or in order of pages. Just go from one page, you go back to another page, and then go to the very last page, then go back to the very first page. They are breaking some boundaries, David Hine and Shaky Kane, on this, and I love it. It's still got that kind of retro, psychedelic, pop culture ethic behind it, and I just loved it. It makes no sense, but it makes sense. This isn't for everybody. If you are into your superheroes, if you're like a Marvel man, woman, and you like your capes and tights, this probably is not for you. You will just think, what the hell is this? It's just a bunch of pictures. But you really do have to read it and kind of almost make up your own story. Again, it's that interactive nature of comics that for most of them you miss so much now. I love this. It's a great series. If you haven't been picking up, go and look for these. Just as a side note, again, it's another, like, they have a couple of articles in the back, they always do in these. And they explain about the cut-up comics kind of idea. And this was actually made, this comic book was actually made in a pub in Northampton, which is where I'm from. And who helped them out? Who helped them do this? My comic book guy. Yes, Mr. Jeff Charhol. His name is mentioned in the back. As it says, this weekend those 84 images were pulled out and tossed onto a beer-stained table in a Northampton pub. I wish I'd been there. Who knows? I could have put this comic book together. Just a great issue. Oh, God knows what they've got in store for us next. Fantastic. On to Marvel, and it's Daredevil, issue 12. Sorry about the glare there. Oh, this was a nice issue. A done in one, and Matt Murdock, he's a stud, isn't he? It's just like anything that's in a skirt and it's moving, it's got a pulse, he's going to try and bed it. It doesn't matter. This time around, no, it's not Black Cat, who he's just had a bit of a fling with. This time it's Kirsten McDuffie, who's the assistant DA, and she's popped up in quite a few of the issues of this, and she's determined to prove that Matt Murdock is Daredevil, and does some shockingly rude things along the way to try and trick our Matt Murdock into revealing he's Daredevil. And they go out on a date. But the date really isn't the big thing here. It's a flashback story to Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson's college days. And it's... The best thing about the comic book is the art by Chris Samnee. Now, it's very different to what we've been used to. With like the Rivera brothers, and in the last like Chiquetto. Chris Samnee, the only way I can describe Chris Samnee's artwork, and he's just recently did he did a Thor kind of series lately, but it feels human. Now I don't know, I can't explain it anymore. I mean, this comic has been lighter than the last volume for sure, but there is like a brevity about it, a lightness, a humanity about it that has been there but has never been to the forefront like it is in this. This is about the people, you know, Matt Murdock, who's under the cowl, the hood, the costume. And it was another breath of fresh air from Daredevil. Mark Waid is just writing so well on this, and I just couldn't recommend this title to anyone more. Forget what you knew about Daredevil from the last series, where they just, you know, bashed him down and down and down. This is a breath of fresh air. I love it. Issue 685, it can only be The Amazing Spider-Man and another part of Ends of the Earth. And this title, it's very, very busy. It's packed with stuff. We have our three characters on the front, Silver Sable, Black Widow, and of course Spidey, jetting around the world trying to stop the flow of Doc Ock's satellites that he's wanting to send into space and either cause or reduce the global warming whole idea. And so they're blowing up all the factories. Rhino, you know, we've had the Sandman fight, we've had the Electro fight, now it's Rhino takes a shot. And then we get this bunch of kind of Z-list superheroes that I've not... I mean, I know Kangaroo Man, I didn't know the big group of them, but they're not well-known superheroes. Why is he going to these heroes instead of like the Avengers or Fantastic Four or something like that? Well, you know, it's the age-old get out of clause. They're all off doing something else, so they can't help out Spider-Man. Now, the problem I have with this event is it is Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock, and everyone's willingness to believe what he is promising. We're talking about, you know, one of Spider-Man's major villains. He's been there almost from the very beginning, and, you know, he's done a lot of bad things. But everyone, just because that he tells everyone, oh, I can, you know, stop global warming, suddenly he's everyone's friend. Everyone thinks he's a hero. Come on, bring on the love. Let's go, you know, bash down on Spider-Man. It's just a little bit unbelievable. There's not even any doubt in, like, the mind of S.H.I.E.L.D., who come after Spider-Man to try and arrest him. There's no doubt in their mind that, you know, they're all for Doc Ock. Of course, Doc Ock does what he does best, and is bad and villainous, and what we knew he was going to do, he goes and does. The artwork, Ramos is still there, still loving it. But as an event, as this, you know, this 50 years of Spider-Man event, it's average. Now on to DC finally. Now the latest second wave of the 52 titles came out this week, and I swore blind I would not pick any up. And I was looking on the shelves and I said to myself, well, I picked up a few titles, was flicking through them, and I was just like, meh, no, not really exciting. And then I picked up Dial H. I just literally just opened it up and it fell on a page and I was like, wow, what is that? This is a nice little book. As a start off, I really enjoyed this. My only kind of touch with Dial H for Hero has been in the last series of Brave and the Bold, where Batman and Dial H had a bit of a team up. But I know the premise behind it. And I know when this was first revealed that this was going to be one of the new titles, everyone was like, well, that's just an absolutely stupid, ridiculous idea. You know, if they're trying to pull in a modern audience, what's this about a phone box? Who uses phone boxes anymore? And you know, at that time, I kind of agreed with them. This seemed a very outdated idea and concept to use in our new 52 universe, where, you know, everyone's using iPhones, iPads, you know, your smartphones. But, and I mean, even inside, they say, you know, that our main character here, called Nelsie, he is confused that there is a phone box. And like he said, who uses phone boxes these days? But anyway, onto the story, which was written by China Melville. Now, China Melville usually writes kind of steampunk, sci-fi, future world novels, which I've read a couple and I do really, really like. So him on here, you can hear his voice. It's a very strange and unusual kind of a dialogue that is used and fits the characters that come out from the phone box just perfectly. And what we have is our character on the front here, Nels, who's a bit of a loser really. He's like this overweight, obese man. He's just had a heart attack. He continues to smoke though, and takes no exercise whatsoever. And he has his friend called Darren, who's trying to get him out of this funk, because obviously a lot of bad things have happened to him, which is why he's where he is now. And Darren's just brought him back from hospital after this heart attack, and he's giving him a piece of his mind and saying, come on, you've got to sort yourself out. And you know, Kelsey's not having any of it, and Darren just leaves. On the way back, Darren is attacked. We don't quite know who these people are yet, but we know they have a connection to Darren because Darren knows them. And Nelsie runs after him to say sorry and apologise, and that's when the phone box comes in, and we get this fantastic character called Bob Chimney. Yes, Bob Chimney. And he kind of does take on elements of Nelsie's character, in the fact that this boy Chimney can create things out of smoke. This sulfuric smoke, which he can beat these bad guys up. It's just, again, it's another of DC's dark comics. The artwork here by, oh my goodness, Matthias Santaloku. Sorry, I've butchered that name. His artwork is just fantastic, and certainly goes with this kind of environment that we are in that's kind of decrepit and falling apart. It's old, it's aged. We have our mysterious baddie in the background, known purely by the letters X and N at the moment. It's definitely an intriguing concept, and I think I would definitely be picking up Dial H. Have a go at this one. If you want to move away from the other kind of caped kind of superheroes, like, you know, your Earth 2 and your World's Finest, this will probably float your boat. Batman Detective Comics issue 9 came out, and it was good. It was okay. It's joining in with the Night of the Owls crossover that's going on through all the Bat titles. It's a bit of a done-by-the-numbers kind of story, but it's entertaining nonetheless. The Owls are off to get Dr. Arkham from the Arkham Asylum, and Dr. Arkham is not going to leave his hospital, his mental institution. This is his home, and he's safe enough in there. They have the best security. Of course, the Owls, they get in, there's a big showdown with Batman. Black Mask makes an appearance. But it is just a bit by-the-numbers Batman story. Nothing too demanding, nothing too revealing is told in this story, but then it's Tony Daniels, so I didn't expect a great deal from it. The backup story, again, it's terrible. Maybe it is a good story, but what is really putting me off is the artwork. It is so dark. It's impossible to know which characters are talking from one minute to the next. There's just no point in it being there, and I'm very disappointed of it, to be honest. It's the first week of the month. What comes out in the first week of the month? Two of the best comics DC are putting out at the moment. It is, of course, Animal Man. It's number 9 as well. I shouldn't have to look because they're all 9s. And if we remember, at the end of last issue, Animal Man died. He got taken over by the rot. But I mean, maybe not as as much as we thought, but Buddy Baker is in the red. He's inside the red. I thought it was going to be like what Maxine did, where Buddy came out of the body he was in, jumped into another body, like Maxine went into a fox, and then made herself back into a child. This does not happen. He's in the red, and he meets, who was it? He meets the shepherd in the Bone Orchard, and this is a place where basically people go to die, or they're dead. This is kind of the story. You know, Buddy is wanting to go and see the totems of the red and look for basically their help. And it's up to the shepherd to take him there. This is going to be a bit of kind of a journey story arc, I feel, because unfortunately, unlike Maxine, who can jump through the red wherever she wants, however quickly she wants, the shepherd cannot do this, and they are going to have to actually go on a journey across this Red Sea, they've said, and then there's, I think it was a desert they've got to go through, and I think this is what this story arc is going to be about. On the flip side, with the family, they've bunkered down in a chalet, and unfortunately Buddy Baker, like I said, his body has been taken over by the rot, and they are going to use that body to entice Maxine to come and lure her into the rot, and you know, do away with her, obviously. There's a nice little surprise cameo right at the end from a certain JL Dark character. I won't spoil that for you, but what I'd like to say about Animal Man is, you know, we've been promised this kind of meet-up, this crossover with Swamp Thing. I think we've got to put that out of our mind for now. Anyone who's read Swamp Thing will realise that, you know, there was never going to be this big coming together to fight Lord Seth. Them meeting must be coming much later. They do, you know, say it again. The cat says we've got to get to Alec Holland to save something or other. But I think that's got a long way to go. We were anticipating it to be the end of, or them crossing over at the end of the Swamp Thing story arc. It's not going to happen. So let's take that out of our mind for now and just enjoy the grotesquerie of Animal Man. So of course, pick of the week has got to be issue 9 of Swamp Thing. And I am not going to spoil this too much for you due to the fact that this is not what you're going to expect. At the end of last issue, Abby had come out of her cocoon and turned into this monstrosity, and we're all expecting the big fight with Swamp Thing and this mutated Abby, and you don't really get it. You get something so much better. Again, the artwork as always is just very exciting, from just like the breakup of the pages with, you know, the slithers of rot, to the breakup of pages with Swamp Thing's kind of flowers and leaves. It just lends an exciting quality to the book. Yes, sometimes it's difficult to know which panel you're meant to be going to, but you know, it's one of those titles that maybe needs a little work from the reader, and that's not a bad thing at all. At the end of the comic, we have certainly a recurring character being resurrected for our pleasure, which Swamp Thing and maybe Abby will have to confront further on in this title. Just a great read. I've enjoyed it from pretty much the beginning. Definitely worth a pick up. If you haven't, wait for the trade. They're all starting to come out now from month to month, so look out for this. And that is all my comics this week. And I have to say, not having to rush these reviews has made this a lot more of a pleasurable experience. I know the video is going on a bit long, so I'll cut it now and just say, if this is your first time here and you enjoyed yourself, there's a subscribe button up there. Thumb this up if you liked it. Let everyone know you liked it. And if you've got any questions, comments about the video, tell me what you picked up. What was your pick of the week? Put a comment down in the box underneath this video, and I'll reply to as many as I can. So for now, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Look out for more videos coming very soon. It's been a pleasure. Take care.